Identifying fake friendships can be tough, like telling apart a fake oasis from a real one in a big desert of people meeting and not always connecting. In a world full of fake smiles and people looking out for themselves, figuring out who truly cares about us takes skill. Sometimes, we trust others too much, thinking they're good when they're actually just using us. Like a smart gardener who knows which plants help and which ones harm, we need to learn to spot the true friends from the emotional vampires in our lives. So let's talk about the signs and patterns that show someone's true intentions behind their fake smiles and empty promises. If you're here for personal growth, stick around. Before we dive in, remember to watch the whole video, stay strong, and keep focused. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Now, let's get started. The first sign is that they do not value you in front of others. People who use others for their own gain often make hurtful comments to bring them down. These comments chip away at your confidence and self-worth, making you doubt yourself. They might seem like jokes or casual remarks, but they're actually meant to hurt you. They might make fun of your achievements, laugh at your dreams, or act like they don't care about your problems. It's like they're playing mind games to keep you feeling small and unsure of yourself. This makes it easier for them to control you and make you do what they want. When they put you down, it's often because they feel insecure themselves. They try to cover up their own weaknesses by making others feel bad. Recognizing this behavior is important. It helps you see the truth behind their actions and decide how to handle the situation. You can confront them about their hurtful behavior or distance yourself from them for your own well-being. The second sign is not showing interest in you. In friendships and relationships, another sign to watch out for is when someone doesn't seem interested in you personally. Real friends and genuine companions care about what's going on in your life. They enjoy hearing about your experiences, sharing your happiness, and supporting you through tough times. But when you're dealing with someone who's only focused on themselves, it's a different story. They hardly ever ask about how you're doing, what you're feeling, or what you want to achieve. When you talk to them, it feels like they're only interested in talking about themselves. They might only want to discuss their own experiences or keep conversations shallow without any real depth. This kind of behavior shows that they're not really interested in you as a person. You might start feeling like your thoughts and feelings don't matter to them unless they benefit in some way. It can be painful to realize, but it's important to understand for your own self-worth. It's important to ask yourself, are we in a balanced and genuine relationship, or are we just extras in someone else's life story? When someone shows little interest in you personally, it's a sign that you need to rethink the relationship and find places where you're valued for who you are. The third signal is not keeping promises. Have you ever trusted someone's promise, only to be left waiting and disappointed when they don't follow through? It feels heavy, like your heart is sinking into disappointment. Many people face this when promises are broken. We have to beware of such friends. And if they did, then listen this. Stoicism teach us about dealing with this betrayal. Imagine a story from ancient Rome where a Stoic philosopher faced a similar situation. He lent money to a friend who promised to pay it back by a certain date. But when the day came, the friend disappeared. Instead of getting angry or upset, the philosopher turned inward and remembered Stoic teachings. He asked himself, what can I control now? When someone breaks a promise to you, do you let it upset you? Or do you remember that their actions are not in your control? Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can change and accept what we can't. The philosopher realized he couldn't control his friend's actions, but he could control how he reacted. He chose to understand rather than resent. He saw the broken promise as a chance to become stronger and more independent. Next time someone breaks a promise to you, think about how you'll respond. Will you let it upset you, or will you find strength in what you can control your thoughts, emotions, and actions? Remember, in life's big play, you're the director of your inner stage. Let others' broken promises be like fleeting shadows, while you shine with wisdom. Promises are like a play, where words are the actors and actions are the forgotten script. Some people are great at convincing you with their words, making grand promises of commitment and support. But when it's time to follow through, they fall short. These individuals paint beautiful pictures with their words, but when it's time to turn those words into actions, they disappear. This pattern shows that their promises are empty. They only care about what they can get from you without giving anything back. When they're needed the most, they vanish, leaving you feeling disappointed and let down. This behavior isn't just a breach of trust. It shows their true intentions. They use promises as tools to manipulate you with no intention of keeping their word. For those who've been let down, it's a painful lesson that not everyone is honest or trustworthy. Recognizing this behavior helps you navigate relationships more wisely, protecting your trust and emotions. Actions speak louder than words, revealing a person's true character and intentions. By being aware of this pattern, you can safeguard yourself and your relationships. The fourth sign to watch out for guilt-tripping and manipulation. Think back to times when you felt pressured with phrases like "you do this if you really cared," or "I've done so much for you. Can't you do this one thing for me?" These aren't just words. They're traps baited with guilt to make you do things you don't want to. It's like someone wearing a fake mask of concern and duty. But why should your kindness be used against you? Why should your empathy become a weapon for someone else? This isn't just about being pushed into uncomfortable situations. It's about someone slowly making you doubt yourself, questioning your worth, and chipping away at your confidence. In human interactions, another warning sign to watch out for is when someone tries to manipulate you using guilt. This means they're trying to make you do what they want by making you feel bad. It can happen in different ways, but the goal is always the same: to get you to do what they want. For example, you might feel pressured to say yes to their requests even when you don't want to. They might also use your emotions against you, making you feel like you have to do something because they say they would do it for you. These tactics are sneaky and can make you doubt yourself and your feelings. But it's important to know that healthy relationships are built on trust, respect, and the freedom to express yourself without feeling pressured. If you find yourself in situations where you feel manipulated, it's time to take a step back and reassess the relationship. You have the right to set boundaries and not be manipulated into doing things you don't want to do. Standing up against manipulation is a brave move that shows you value your emotional well-being. It's about saying no to being guilt-tripped into doing things that aren't right for you. But here's the thing. Recognizing this manipulation is the first step to breaking free. The fifth sign is absence in critical moments. Imagine you're going through a tough time, like a storm in your life. You turn around hoping to see a friend by your side facing the storm with you, but they're not there. They've left you to deal with the storm alone. It's a moment that tests your strength and teaches you about yourself. You can't control others, but you can control yourself, your reactions, your mindset, and your growth. Stoicism doesn't mean you become cold and uncaring. It's about realizing your own power and resilience. When you embrace this wisdom, you become like a strong tree, rooted and unshakable, no matter how strong the storm. So, next time you feel alone in a tough situation, remember your inner strength. Stoicism shows us that we have the power to find peace and strength within ourselves, even in the loneliest moments. That's the true power of Stoicism, finding peace within no matter what storms come our way. We're halfway through today's lesson, and your support means a lot to us. Please like, share, and comment to spread the word about Stoic philosophy. Together, let's bring these valuable lessons to more people. The sixth sign is lack of respect. Treating ourselves and others with kindness and consideration. But what happens when someone doesn't show us respect? It feels like they're ignoring or hurting a part of us. Imagine being in ancient Rome, like a Stoic philosopher. Even when faced with disrespect every day, they didn't let it shake them. They knew their worth came from within, not from others. So, when you come across someone who doesn't respect you, remember this Stoic wisdom. Your value isn't based on what others think. It's something deep inside you that no one can take away. Stoicism teaches us to focus on our own self-respect, no matter what others say or do. So, next time someone disrespects you, don't let it bring you down. Your self-respect is like a strong fortress. It can't be easily broken. Instead, focus on staying true to yourself and your values. And hey, let us know in the comments, what would you do if faced with disrespect? Your thoughts could help others going through the same thing. The seventh sign is lack of genuine support. This situation is sadly familiar to many and exposes the reality of one-sided relationships, where sincere support is not returned. Take a moment to think about your own experiences. Have you been in a similar situation? How did it make you feel? Disappointed? Undervalued? These feelings are natural, but Stoicism offers a way to find peace amidst such trials. Stoicism teaches us to focus on our ability to offer support without expecting anything in return. While we can't control how others act or feel, we can control our own responses and perceptions. The lack of support from others doesn't diminish our worth. Think about a time when you felt let down by someone you supported. Stoicism encourages us to see this not as a personal attack, but as an opportunity to reaffirm our commitment to virtue and self-sufficiency. It prompts us to ask ourselves why we offer support. Is it for recognition, or because it's the right thing to do? When faced with a lack of support, remind yourself that your worth and peace of mind aren't dependent on others' recognition or reciprocation. You have the power to choose serenity over resentment, to find strength in your character. So, the next time you encounter a lack of genuine support, stand firm in your Stoic principles. Offer kindness and help, not because you expect something in return, but because it aligns with your values. In doing so, you're not just navigating the challenge of unreciprocated support, you're cultivating a resilient, self-reliant spirit. Find fulfillment in the act of giving itself, not in the anticipation of receiving. Through this, experience a profound sense of freedom and contentment, knowing that your peace and happiness aren't dependent on others' actions. The eighth sign is selective availability, being there when needed. It's like being a convenience store open 24/7 for them, while they're a boutique with erratic hours, only open when it suits them. This can leave you feeling frustrated and disappointed. But let's look at this through the lens of Stoicism. Stoicism teaches us about what we can control and what we can't. While we can't control others' actions, we can control our reactions and our own availability. When someone shows selective availability, it's a signal not to rely on them for our well-being. Instead, we can focus on building our inner resilience and investing our time and energy in relationships that are truly reciprocal. Setting boundaries is important to honor our self-worth and ensure that our kindness isn't taken for granted. By doing so, we're taking proactive steps to surround ourselves with people who value our presence as much as we value theirs. So, when faced with selective availability, it's an opportunity to reassess and set boundaries calmly and clearly. It's a step towards true inner freedom and healthier relationships. The ninth signal is always in a competition with you. Imagine playing a game of chess, where every move isn't just about getting ahead, but also about trying to make your opponent look bad. In a similar way, someone who wants to use you might treat your relationship like a game. They might try to make themselves look better by overshadowing your successes or downplaying your achievements. This behavior comes from their insecurity and the belief that they're only valuable if they're better than others. This constant competition shows up in different ways. In work, they might try to steal credit for your ideas. In friendships, they might try to make themselves seem smarter or more successful than you. Dealing with someone who's always competing can be really tiring. It creates tension and makes it hard to have a real connection. Your successes are seen as threats to their ego, and your problems are seen as chances for them to get ahead. Recognizing this pattern is important. It helps you set boundaries and rethink the relationship. Good relationships are built on respect and support, not on trying to be better than each other all the time. The 10th sign is superficial closeness. True friendship takes time to grow, as George Washington once said. He meant that real connections are deep, unlike the fake closeness of superficial relationships. Imagine you're tending to a garden, caring for each plant. But one day you realize that what you thought was a beautiful rose is actually plastic. It looks real from far away, but up close, it's empty and lifeless. This is similar to experiences we have with people who seem like friends, but disappear when things get tough. They're like shadows, gone when you need them most. For example, think about a coworker who's always up for lunch or a chat, but is nowhere to be found when you need real help. This lack of depth can leave you feeling used and confused. But Stoic philosophy teaches us that while we can't control others' depth, we can control how we react. We learn to value deep, meaningful relationships and not be bothered by superficial ones. So, what should you do when faced with someone who's all smiles in good times, but disappears in hard times? Reflect on what you really expect from them and remember your own strength. Stoicism isn't about closing off your heart, but understanding people and protecting your inner peace. By embracing Stoic thinking, you can handle superficial relationships with wisdom and calmness. You'll realize that your well-being doesn't depend on unreliable friends, but on your own stable core. And in this realization, you'll find not just the joy of true friendship, but the strength of your own resilience and inner peace. If you found this content valuable, consider joining our YouTube membership for more exclusive content and community support. Until next time, may you walk the path of harmony and tranquility with courage and grace.